Hey everyone, welcome to the first episode of Backyard Biohacker. I'm Steven, I'm your host, and today I want to talk about action. Um, for me, getting over the hump of actually stepping into creative power and being able to put forth what my knowledge and what I'm good at and what I'm passionate about to help people, right? And that's what we're all here to do, is help each other out. Um, but this is about biohacking, so a shortcut to better health, both physically and mentally. And today, as the first episode, I wanted to talk about action. And action is really where it all starts. Um, we need to obviously you need to take action. However, there's a concept that action is really what receives. So there's a few different types of action. I feel like we can take aligned action, which has to do more with the energetics of things. And there's an action of getting your energy in alignment with your purpose and what you want to do. So, there's a quote by Keith Cunningham that says, the worst thing to do is run enthusiastically in the wrong direction. So this has to do with aligned action. And you can take action, but if you're going in the wrong direction, you're not going to end up where you want to go. And so aligned action is really about the energetics, knowing your why, knowing what you're wanting to create and for who, and the purpose really behind it. So a lot of kind of the pre-action, if you will, is taking action to get your energy right and get your energy in alignment. Because a lot of times, if you're not in alignment, you're not going to take any action whatsoever. So, if we just define it, it's action is a fact, right? You can't really argue with something that's done. It's a fact. You don't need to convince anyone it's real. It just is. So the definition, it's the fact or the process of doing. It's a thing done. It's initiative, right? So getting your energy in alignment, so aligned action, meaning it's feeling like you're being pulled rather than having to push. A lot of us, they think of taking action and it's like pushing and grinding and doing this. Well, stop grinding and let's align, right? Because when you're in alignment, it feels effortless. It feels like you're in flow. It feels like you're being pulled and you're compelled, and not so much grinding. You hear that's very common now with like entrepreneur world. Is like, hey, let's grind it out. We got to grind every day. And that's cool. That's good. But you got to, in alignment, you're going to take more action. You're going to get more done with less. So aligned action is that first kind. The next is inspired action. So when you feel inspired, that's, taking action on feeling inspired. Inspiration, there's a reason you feel that way. Inspiration means of God, like you are filled with the Spirit, inspired in spirit. So when you can take action from that state, a lot of more flows when you're inspired action, as opposed to forced action, which goes back to alignment too. And then the third kind is persistent action. So not every action is going to give you results, right? There's a story of I think it was Jack Canfield that put his book out. He went to 1,000 different publishers and everyone said no, but he stayed persistent in getting Chicken Soup for the Soul published, right? And then he looked at the National Enquirer and got in front of 100,000 people at one shot. But he took massive action. There was hundreds of people who turned him down. Colonel Sanders with KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken, that's another one. He was 63 years old. He went to 1,000 different places with his chicken recipe. No one gave him even the time of day. They said, no, old man, you're too old. Take your chicken recipe elsewhere. But one little gas station gave it a chance, and people loved his chicken so much, it blew up. Now is what it is, KFC. Right? But he took persistent action. He kept going. There wasn't just because one person said, no, this happened, that happened. He kept going. So, if anything from today, I want you to think, what's an action that I can take in the direction of my dream or my goal? What is it you want? And then what actions do you need to take to get there? Even if it's not perfect action, how can you be more aligned? How can you get more inspired? And how can you be more persistent? Those are the questions that you want to ask when you're thinking of taking action. Action is about movement. It's about moving forward. It's about not staying complacent and staying where you're at. It's about getting into action, intelligent action, inspired action, aligned action. That's going to be where you're feeling in flow more than, trying to force something. But getting in and getting persistent, right? Getting connected to your why, and persistence builds your faith. So you're going to continue to take more action when you have the faith backing it up. And that really is how you stay persistent, is build your faith, build your belief, know your why, know what you're doing. But action is a fact. It's just is, right? If you take action, no one can deny the action, right? Action is going to have a reaction. There's going to be an effect from the cause of you getting out and taking action in the direction of your goal. So I thought this was a perfect, first intro episode to the Backyard Biohacker, because I've been, maybe playing small or being a little afraid of what might happen. I had a whole bunch of beliefs and things that kept me from taking action. And now we're getting through. I feel more aligned and I feel more inspired, and I'm going to stay persistent, right? But getting in action, getting in motion and doing the thing, because the more iterations you have of something, the more you're going to learn. So like you've heard the saying, fail faster. The faster you can get into action and understand the feedback you're getting, the easier it is to tweak and course correct, because you're having more information come back, because you're putting out information. So for every action, there's a reaction. So every time you have that reaction, every time you have feedback coming from your actions, you can course correct and make iterations and get better and better and better. So this isn't perfect. This is very short. This is me kind of going off the cuff and thinking of the word action and sharing a little bit on what I believe action, what the role of action is, and how to get into that action and the types of action, right? Aligned action, inspired action, intelligent action, and persistent action, right? So that was a little bit today, just to kind of get the ball rolling here and get into action, right? I just made myself show up. I wrote some notes, but I have everything I need. Everything I need is within me now, is belief I hold. And getting into action is really where the magic starts to happen. It's where you start to create. But getting aligned and getting into intelligent, inspired, persistent action. That's the key, and I don't know. So what's holding you back? I'd love to know more about what's holding you back from getting into action. I know for me, it was beliefs, it was fears, it was self-criticism, just saying, oh, what's the difference? If I stay small, like, who cares? It's not affecting anyone anyway. I'm not hurting anyone by not doing anything except myself, right? Except the people that we're meant to impact, that I'm meant to impact. I'm here now sharing my personal beliefs and the effect that I've seen from taking action and continuing to take action towards your goals. So I'd love to know what your goals are. I'd love to know how what's preventing you from getting into action and doing it. What's stopping you? What beliefs do you have? What thoughts do you have? What fears that are making you play small? And getting into intelligent action. So getting more aligned with your energy, understanding what it is exactly that you're doing, and then getting into intelligent action. Like, what are the steps, right? And another thing to reinforce it is celebrating. Like, just today I was researching how to make a podcast, right? And so I have no idea. I'm a total newbie, total beginner, but I'm not going to let that stop me from taking action. I'm not going to let that stop me from getting on this right now and sharing this, because I know that there's something more on the other side of taking action. I know that I'm going to get feedback. I know there'll be multiple iterations of this show or this podcast. And we're gonna, getting out there to get the feedback, because a lot of us hide in perfectionism, and perfectionism is really not delivering anything. It's just being afraid of feedback. Like, you can't be perfect until you get feedback, right? So for me, it's like getting something out there, getting something done, taking some sort of action is going to move the needle along. So, nothing comes without action, but getting into alignment first and knowing your why, and then taking some sort of intelligent, inspired action. So if you don't know what to do, find a mentor, or just ask your higher self. Ask yourself, if I did know, what would be the action? Right? Whatever your first answer is probably pretty correct. Like, I knew if I wanted to make a podcast, I had to get on and talk about it and just start podcasting. Like, I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but I have to take some sort of action if I'm going to learn, because you can only learn to a certain extent. Right? And until you do something with what you know, it's just learning. Right? Like, the person who reads one book and takes all the action from that book is going to get further ahead than the person who reads 30 books and does nothing. Right? You get the point? It's just about taking action. Do one thing again and make multiple iterations and get better. Right? I mean, for me, I have a fear. Like, I'm not good enough. I don't know what I'm going to say, or this or that, or I'm not going to be able to impact people. That's just a fear, right? That's just a fear keeping me small and keeping me playing a game that I'm actually meant for more. And if I just show up and I take the action, it might be scary, but hey, it's better than staying back where I am. So getting into action, getting the confidence, and you don't really need confidence, you just need some courage. Right? I don't have the confidence to make a podcast. I've never done it before. Of course, I'm not going to be confident. But if I have enough courage to show up, to actually get on video and make a recording, there we go. We got some sort of action done. And now I'm going to learn from the feedback I get from this. Right? So I hope that serves you. I just wanted to talk a little bit about action today and how to get into action and get aligned, get into inspired and intelligent action. And just do one thing, take one step and then celebrate it, reinforce the action you take, and understand that even failure is just feedback, right? Our conditioning tells us that if we fail, we're no good, we don't deserve love, we're not worthy. None of that's true. That's just nonsense, right? But if we believe it, it is true. So work your beliefs where anything that comes back is just feedback now. The whole world is trying to make you better. The whole world is set up for you to win. And all it's doing is giving you feedback. If you fail, it's okay. Get some feedback, get better, make another iteration, continue to take action, right? When we take action, things start to flow, things start to happen. I didn't know everything I was going to say here today, but I got into action. We hit the record button, and here we are. We're moving forward. We're taking action. So I hope this had been a help. Hope this has inspired a little bit, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Take care, everyone. Thank you.